episode of Cringecast. I'm your host, Mr. Loserish, and joining with me today is...
The Kawaii Wrestler.
Yep, and first of all, let me say I can't believe we've done 18 of these. It's pretty crazy. All 0 of you.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Well, thank you for being there with us. Yep. That's that. So today we watched the Emoji Movie, and
Oh boy.
well, in one emoji, how would you describe it? We got that's how it's gonna start. An emoji review out of 100 emoji.
I think I'll go with the meh.
All right, very fitting for the plot of the film.
What about your emoji?
You know what? I think I'll go with. I really don't know. This is a big decision. It's a huge decision in my life. This could be life-changing. This could make or break my YouTube career. I'm actually really indecisive on this. You know what? I'll just go with the Indian because I use that emoji a lot. Or maybe I'll go with like the tongue sticking out emoji or something. I don't know. I'll just go with the Indian. So, all right. Let's briefly talk about the plot of the film.
It's pretty much Wreck-It Ralph and Toy Story kind of mashed together in a mediocre to bad film.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty basic plot. Basically, just classic. The main character is different from everyone in his world, and he decides to go on a quest that will change his world forever.
Yeah, right.
In this case, our main character Gene is supposed to be a meh emoji, but he has multiple different emotions besides just meh. When they find this out, they try to destroy him, basically. Mm-hmm. And he runs away with his sidekick, High Five. Along the way, they meet this girl named Jailbreak, who's also another emoji. And he's trying to become a meh, but along the way, he'll discover that who he is more important than what society expects him to be.
Yeah, very, very groundbreaking stuff, as you can see.
Yeah, and so let's get the bad out of the way first. Let's talk about what's really bad about the film before we get into some of the decent parts of it.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of bad puns and jokes.
Oh yeah, lots of the jokes
very
are pretty
littered
bad.
with them. Yeah.
Earlier on in the movie, there was a scene where Gene is talking to a shrimp, and he said, "What are you gonna do today?" And then the shrimp with an Australian accent is like, "I'm gonna throw myself in the bobby with my mates." There's probably a really bad Australian accent from me, but yeah, there's just like some dumb puns like that in the beginning, and I actually maybe would have appreciated more of those because we only get those in the beginning. Now I think about it, there wasn't really that many dumb puns afterwards.
Yeah, just other stupid jokes.
I think, but the biggest flaw of the movie is that we were talking about before. This could have either been really bad or really good. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe not really good, but it should have been entertaining.
Yeah.
And
decent.
the problem is that the movie, well, I think it was entertaining at parts. It definitely drags in the middle. And it's kind of boring.
There's this like sequence where like you have scenes just like kind of having dialogue between characters, and then it just does like a very basic fade into like other characters with like no dramatic tension, and it's just like, why am I watching this? It's like nothing's going forward, like, and like I don't care about like what's happening.
Yeah, I think I asked you before the film, do you think that it would maybe have been better if it was just horrendously bad, but in a way that was so awful that it was entertaining?
Yeah, well, not better,
boring.
But it would have been funner to watch if it was like really bad,
like an absolute train wreck, as opposed to
where you could ask like, okay, well, like this is batshit crazy, but at least like I'm like getting a rise out watching this, or like really feeling something, but meh.
Yeah, it's I think unlike, it's not going to be The Room or anything where it's like so bad that it's remembered. It's going to be a movie that's probably forgotten.
Oh, easily.
And we're going to, people, unless the meme sort of outlasts the film.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of hype, going into like,
just like basically just memeing it. Because the thing is with, The Room, the movie made the hype, Mm-hmm. But with this, it was kind of just the hype of how ridiculous and stupid the idea was that made the meme. And now that the movie just turned out to be just okay. Nothing too great, nothing too bad.
But definitely not appealing though to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So it might just end up being one of those movies people forget unless the whole meme of it outlasts it, which would be kind of surprising, you know. If
Yeah, I mean memes already don't like last pretty much.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the biggest problem was not just the bad jokes, but that it was dull towards the middle. What's funny about the film is that there was very little as far as the first third, I guess, like as far as like establishing who the characters are, the rules of the world, and everything.
Yeah,
it seemed
right.
like there wasn't very much in the beginning, and it went by really fast. Like before you know it, Gene is already in trouble of being deleted when he messes up. And makes the wrong face instead of the math face, and it happens so quickly, or at least it feels quickly, and he's already on his adventure so fast. I think it would have actually benefited if they had spent more time in the beginning. That way, the middle would have dragged a little bit less.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you know how Toy Story, like, you start out and it's like they're all in the room, and then Buzz comes, and then him and Woody, you know, have interactions and stuff, and then eventually it leads to, you know, Woody pushing Buzz off and then also getting pushed off onto the van, and how that first part of the movie feels like forever, and it has like a lot of character and plot stuff. Like all that is in like 10 minutes or even less of the movie, and it's like so insubstantial, and it really like makes you feel less for like the other characters and stuff.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, I don't expect it to be Toy Story or anything, but I just think it
Well,
would have
I mean,
benefited.
Well, yeah, I get that, but it's like, but when you have like, when this is like a movie that's very derivative of those types of movies, you have like the template to make it work. So why not use it like that?
Yeah.
Or, you know, try to execute it well.
Yeah, that's true. So I think the biggest flaw of the movie is that it does surprisingly drag in the middle. I mean, you'd expect to be like laughing about how bad it was or something, but there's lots of times in the movie where this was an audience full. First of all, it's a Saturday night, so there's lots of people there, lots of kids, and you know there was this one dancing scene where no one was making a sound the entire time. You know, if an animated film is good, kids should be feeling something, or they should be laughing. You know, if they're not laughing, they should be feeling, you know, something for the characters, like
whatever they're supposed to feel. Right?
Yeah, but everyone was just kind of like. I was just waiting for it to end. Like I was waiting for the scene to end because I had seen Jack's Films review and he had talked about how the scene lasted a long time, and I was very surprised at how long it really did last. And I was really just waiting for it to end, and it didn't feel like it was going to end anytime soon, which was annoying. So that's I think my biggest critique of the film is that there are lots of boring parts. I can stand for the bad jokes, you know, and I can stand for you know. Kind of this just the dumb idea of the whole movie being cliche, especially being very cliche. But I don't like it when movies are, you know, so boring that.
Yeah, right. Like obviously a big no-no is having like a scene that's like a slog that has like no purpose. Well, yeah, that just is a pain to actually sit through.
Yeah. So I think there are going to be lots of critiques to talk about the bad parts of the film. So I think it'd be better if we actually talked about what we liked about the film. Is there anything you specifically liked?
There are some jokes that were okay. Like I don't know. I you know, you really liked them. They did the tease of holy shh. So
yeah,
which, you know, like that most like, you know, animated movies like that would do.
Oh yeah. Well, there's the poop emoji played by Sir Patrick Stewart, and there's a scene where when Gene is sort of fucking everything up, he goes, "Holy shh!" Yeah. And you know, it's such a basic joke, but I think it was just like the casting of Patrick Stewart made me laugh so hard for some reason. That joke like killed me.
Yeah. So there's another joke where they read like a email that like the human character that he like saved, but then like deleted, and it was just the Rihanna song like. Diamonds in the Sky or something. Yeah. Like it's just like the chorus or something, and it's like they're reading it out and like they have no idea what it is.
Yeah, so they're reading it out as if it's like some amazing piece of poetry. Like he really wrote her something really deep.
Yeah, it's like
reality, and it's kind of a moment for the main character and his love interest, where they kind of like they don't really say anything, but I think they were trying to hint that they were sort of, thinking of each other as they read that aloud.
Yeah, right. But this, this Rihanna vapid. Well, not vapid, but this, Rihanna song.
It's just like a kind of a silly Rihanna song. Like, it didn't really mean that much. What else did I like? There were definitely some jokes that I liked. Although I will say that it's, I'm kind of notoriously easy to make laugh.
Yeah, so am I. I give like a little, for little gags and stuff. But I don't think I like laughed.
That's the the biggest problem. I definitely was laughing.
And the problem is there's like jokes all the time, but they're just like they're just like either really bad puns, and so many of them they just.
And a lot of jokes are just so meh. Like really,
yeah, right.
They are relatively meh. Like that's a good way of describing how some of the film feels. I mean,
maybe that's just the thematic purpose of the movie.
Maybe
because it's all about meh.
It's fucking genius. They got us. They knew what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah, right. The whole point wasn't to entertain us; it was to make us go meh. So
So what else do I have to say that I liked about the film? One thing that I did like is I actually liked sort of what made Gene different, because when he's sort of expressing his other emotions, he literally turns into other emoji faces, and I kind of thought that was cool for visual style. Like for example, there's a scene where he's confessing his love to Jailbreak, and he starts off by saying, "You're the coolest emoji I know," and he turns into like the sunglass emoji, and then he's like embarrassed, so he turns into the red cheek emoji, and then he says like "I love you," so he turns into the heart emoji.
Yeah,
and, it was just a little silly thing, but for whatever reason, I really liked him actually literally changing faces into these other because that's the whole point of emojis, right? Is that they're to be expressive. So I like that about him.
Yeah, definitely very unique. It was a good gag to do, so that kind of saved it from being terrible.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, I guess they could have done something as basic as, "Oh, I don't want to be a meh, I want to be a happy or something." But instead it was the idea that he had a range of emotions, and the way they expressed
actually
it
turned into
good.
the emojis rather than doing
just like actually having faces and stuff. The other thing I will say that I actually liked about the film is I actually did like I'll give this I actually did like the character design, because what I'll say is that I think emojis are relatively simple. I mean, they're of course expressive, but they're relatively simple little icons. I think the film did a good job in making these icons not necessarily more expressive, but bringing them into a 3D environment in a good way.
Yeah, they did. I think the biggest design problem for me was just that the actual worlds didn't seem that interesting. It'll try and be phony and or text phone-ish and be advanced and stuff, but I don't know. It just didn't work for me, I think. I don't know, but maybe it would never work. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely I could see that the setting wasn't really as appealing to you as it could have been. And I felt like a lot of times they could have gone further with some of the ideas. What kind of upsets me now that you mention it because it's true, is that a lot of times in films like this, like in Wreck-It Ralph, when he goes to another world, everything about the world just encapsulates that idea. When he goes to Sugar Rush, the whole area is just sugary. Everything is bright and colorful. In this film, that only really happens in Candy Crush. And so often
they already had a template for that.
Yeah, and so often do they go into a world, and it's pretty barren other than the main focus, which I think was a little upsetting. For example, they go into YouTube at one point, and all there is just a couple videos and a little player at the bottom, and then one big screen. Yeah, they could have gone crazy with YouTube. They could have had videos all over the place. They could have made it really, seem like its own world. Expanded the app to feel like more. So these environments were kind of a letdown when it's really just, I could have made that. I could have just put a bunch of screens in a background with a little character and said that's how.
Play shitty videos.
Yeah.
Old videos. Yeah, I mean, this shows. Yeah, I mean, Yeah, it kind of just shows the half-heartedness of the movie, though, that they didn't try to go ham on, like, the whole idea that, yeah, there's every app is a whole new world with, like, set,
Yeah, because, that's one of the coolest things about Wreck-It Ralph is seeing him go in all these different worlds.
Yeah, like the military bug world was, like, really dark and edgy, but it was supposed to be, and it was, like, great, and you, like, really felt it. And, like, it was never, like, empty. It was very, very complete and, like, yeah.
Yeah. Off topic, I'd like to apologize for the background noise, although I don't think anyone cares. But
Yeah, right.
I think soon we will hopefully be able to get rid of all that background noise. And I don't mean that I'm gonna kill my little sister.
Well, I don't know. You never know about neighbors in the apartment.
That's true. But I think there was a big problem with the environment, but the characters themselves, I thought they did a good job with. I also like the designs of the human characters enough.
Oh, yeah.
I felt like there could have been more of the human characters because they felt like kind of an afterthought, honestly, which was a little bit of a problem for me. It felt like it almost felt unnecessary because there were so little of the human characters in it.
For sure.
They would just come in for a joke and then sort of. There's a big problem where there's a possibility of the human deleting his phone.
Right. And then the whole resolution of the movie.
Sorry. It's the dog. It's making me laugh.
Yeah, he has two big German shepherds who like to bark all the damn time. At me, usually. So.
They bark at me, too. They bark at me until I come up and smack them in the face. I don't hit my dog. I'm just joking, but yeah, no. What were you gonna say? The resolution was
it was like the whole thing was like, you gotta stop him from like doing a factory reset, which you can do on your own. Like you just have to press the right buttons down. So that was weird. So the whole point is like to save him, from a factory reset, and so they scan Gene, and he does like all these different emojis at once, but like somehow like the text message gets up there. It's like, phones can't do that. It's like,
well, I didn't necessarily buy that, but I see what you're saying. What's funny is that Gene, because the whole thing is that everyone he saves the world by being himself, but what he does is make multiple different expressions. And what that translates to in the human world is that the girl who the main character likes gets a text message that's this one emoji that keeps switching faces and is animated. And I don't know, it's kind of we already have that technology, don't we? We already have GIFs.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Totally.
It didn't make it seem that special, Yeah. You know what's funny? I wonder if we're going to get, how Facebook has that sticker feature where they have, you might not be familiar with it, but they have little, it's not emojis, but just kind of emojis, just little drawings. And they usually do it for movies, so I wonder if they're going to be emoji stickers.
Well, I mean,
it feels kind of next next level. It's you have your regular emojis, then you have advanced emojis.
Well, I mean, they would do that if the movie was going to be successful and critically acclaimed. Air horn.
Yeah, air horns go off. I need to get a soundboard in here. Yeah. So I think ultimately the movie, it definitely wasn't as bad as I think we were all going to think it was, but it wasn't as okay as I thought it was going to be. It almost disappointed me, which is funny to think about because I didn't expect much.
You're going into thinking that was going to be a 5 out of 10 when it was really a 4 out of 10 for you.
That's definitely how I felt. I expected a 5 out of 10, a 3-star film. What I got was a 2-star film, a 4 out of 10 film, I guess that's the Emoji Movie. Mm-hmm. What's surprising is that, you think we would have so much to talk about when it comes to it, but we've only talked for 20 minutes. And, I guess that's the best way of describing it is it felt,
nothing
there was so much hype, so much, it felt like such a huge meme. and like we're gonna go see it and we're gonna be able to talk about it for 2 hours.
Yeah, right.
And we've talked about films we've seen for over an hour.
Yeah, right.
But this is a film I think we really could only talk about it for 20 minutes.
Like, yeah, I think what it kind of hit me that this was just like not going to be bad, but just very like derivative of better properties. Was like it was like just some YouTube video where it's like comparing like scenes from trailers to like the actual scenes in Wreck-It Ralph, and I was like, okay, yeah, like this totally is just like a reskin of like the story that we've heard in different ways, and it might not be bad, but it's definitely not going to be good, or like so but luckily we did have a short film before the movie.
Oh yeah, well let's talk about that then. So Sony Pictures, I think again in a sort of effort to copy Pixar and Disney, they did the short film before the film. Mm-hmm. And so here it was that they did a short film about the characters from Hotel Transylvania, which I think is their only good films.
Yeah, I've watched them actually like only a couple weeks ago, and yeah, I like them both. They're good, solid movies, like with good themes and stuff, and yeah, pretty great, honestly.
Yeah, they're all right, and I want to fuck Mavis, so that's good.
Well, I mean, like who honestly doesn't, man?
So, but I'm sorry, I apologize for that, but those movies are surprisingly good. So what's funny about it is that ultimately, and the short film was pretty funny actually.
Yeah, right.
So the short film was about the kid. I forget his name, but it's Mavis's son, the ginger kid.
Yeah.
He wants a puppy. That was the name of the short actually, was Puppy with an exclamation point at the end.
Right.
And Dracula, Adam Sandler's character, decides to get him a humongous puppy.
Yeah, right.
And so a lot of the jokes, it was just a sort of a short film, and the whole
just
joke,
gags and stuff.
Yeah, the whole gag was just here's a dog that's twice as big.
That's
as
like size of an elephant, but like a feisty puppy. Yeah.
Imagine how loud that thing would bark.
Good thing we don't have those around here.
Yeah, it was just like a puppy that was about the size of a small elephant or something, and that was just a whole gag, but it was entertaining.
Yeah, and with and like Dracula had to deal with this, so just like.
And the thing was, it was entertaining for the whole 5 minutes, which I can't say about the Emoji Movie.
I mean, yeah, just like good, simple, like kind of cartoon gag stuff with funny characters and like.
So and it actually got me excited for the possibility of a third Hotel Transylvania.
Yeah, I think I did check right before, and it's coming out like next July, so which is good if Sony Pictures is like a solvent company by then.
Yeah, what else have they even made? They made this.
There they are.
Are they the ones that did the Smurfs movies?
I don't know if that was Sony. That'd be a good. Maybe I'll look it up on my phone. But whatever movies they've made, they haven't made like many good ones.
Oh yeah, they're not as memorable. I think if we were to talk about the, big names in animation right now, it'd probably be Disney.
It still is Disney, DreamWorks, and Pixar. And I guess Illumination is kind of going.
They're kind of easing their way in with the Despicable Me franchise,
but then after
they can't. Yeah, the problem is that they can't make themselves big off just Despicable Me, and that's really all they got right now.
Yeah, so animation. So just kind of average stuff. So yeah, they have done the Smurfs movies.
The original, the really bad ones.
Yeah, they did Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
I've heard that was actually.
So the first one, was pretty good. I mean, animated movie. And then, open season, Surf's Up, Arthur Christmas.
Oh, I heard Arthur Christmas. I actually seen it, but I don't remember a ton about that film. Yeah, right. I remember it being okay, though.
So, and then that's pretty much it when it comes to, like, big movies you actually, like, heard of and stuff. So, very lackluster. I mean, Hotel Transylvania is, like, their most recent stuff.
And probably their most memorable film
Yeah, right.
Based off all of that.
And all because they actually got someone talented in Genndy Tartakovsky. And apparently, the story is that, like, Sony was planning on doing, like, a Popeye movie with Genndy heading it. And they chose the Emoji Movie over.
That's so sad. I would have loved to see a Popeye movie over the Emoji Movie. That would have been awesome. Are you kidding me? That's really upsetting.
Especially with one of the great minds of animation.
Yeah, especially with, and that Genndy, he's an animator, so he must respect the original Popeye.
Oh yeah, he was gonna do it justice.
Yeah, I'm sure he would have. That's really disappointing now that I know it. Oh, because I knew they were gonna do a Popeye movie instead of the Emoji Movie, but I didn't know that Genndy was heading it. Oh geez, now I'm really upset.
Yeah,
especially because Popeye is the strongest fictional character of all time. Fuck Goku. Fuck Superman. None of them have anything on Popeye.
You only like him because he eats spinach, right?
No, Popeye is the strongest. Do you have to bust out the Popeye's greatest feats list right now? I'll do it. I'll fucking bust that shit out.
Right. Wait, do you even eat spinach?
I do eat spinach.
My friend Mr. Loserous, he claims he's a vegetarian, but he doesn't really eat many vegetables. So,
first of all, let's just have you look at how long this list is. Look at that shit. Look at that shit. And now I'm going to read just a couple examples off of it. Popeye once lifted the earth in one of the Fleischer sorts that was spoofing Greek mythology.
Well, anytime you do a handstand, you could be lifting the earth.
He dog paddled an island that both he and Olivon were stranded back to the mainland. With a lasso, he pulled the Grand Canyon together just so he could reach Pluto on the other side. He knocked a comet into tiny bits that would have destroyed the earth. Take that, One Punch Man. Popeye did it first. Popeye did it first, yo.
True.
Some of these always kill me. I gotta find some of the best ones. He knocked Bluto so hard, Bluto broke through the time stream and emerged as an infant. He knocked Bluto so hard he destroyed the constellations and altered the night sky. Popeye has ran down and ran past on numerous occasions, speeding locomotives to save olive oil. This one is I think this is my favorite just because of this one line. Popeye can fly like a fighter jet by spinning his pipe like a propeller and sticking his arms out like wings. This is the part that gets me. Just these two words. When provoked, Popeye can use his pipe as a jet engine, propelling himself through the air at Mach speeds, even launching himself into space. Popeye can also survive re-entry and falls from suborbital heights.
Yeah, that's funny.
I think he can breathe in space. Apparently, all right. Here's another good one. Popeye has punched a lion into a leopard fur skin coat. And no, that's not a typo. He punched a lion into a leopard skin.
That's funny. I mean, I think we get the point though that Popeye, is, strong, strongest character.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's just sad. Sony. I mean, why does Sony make movies? They're not good at it. And the only time they made like a good movie was when Disney was, helping them with Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah, that's true. Well, real quick, I got one more. This is Popeye's ultimate feat. This is what makes him the strongest character of all time. Popeye resisted being wiped out of existence by an animator. His pipe was fed spinach. Popeye willed himself back, then beat up the animator. Even Superman, it's like you could erase him if you were, Jeff, whatever the guy's name was. The two Jewish guys invented him.
Yeah,
or
right.
like, if you were Akira Toriyama, you could erase Goku off the page. But with Popeye, you can't even erase that motherfucker.
And he'll beat your ass.
He'll beat your ass. Like, imagine Popeye versus Goku. Especially because Popeye is like a 50s cartoon, so he hates the Japanese. He just come out of the damn page and beat up Akira Toriyama by himself. What a motherfucker.
Damn.
Yeah, but respect Popeye. He's like I just love when people are arguing like, who would win in a fight, Saitama or Goku? And you're just like, Bugs Bunny would win. And everyone gets pissed off. But then you're like, oh, well, Bugs Bunny, he's pretty fucking strong, guys. Let's not fuck around here.
Yeah, I mean, like, the problem with, like, ever, like, comparing characters is that, like, it doesn't matter, like, how strong they would be against each other, because, like, what matters is, the context of the world anyway. Well, and like Saitama is like a gimmick anyway. Like
that's his whole joke.
Yeah, right. It's not like,
which is why he's perfect to fight against Toon Force characters.
Yeah,
because their power comes from jokes too. But actually, while I guess we're on this topic, what's funny is that there's a YouTuber I follow called the Anime Hero, and he did a video about Saitama versus Goku, and he said his argument was, it's just a joke. Saitama might win just because it's a joke. And he said, there have been other joke manga crossovers where, I don't know what it's called, but it's like the police station in Kobayashi or whatever. I probably butchered the name, but it was Shonen Jump's longest running manga. And it was a comedy about this cop, and he's always doing funny stuff or whatever. And they had a crossover with DBZ, and he beat Frieza. Because, he's a joke character. He's able to do that type of stuff. So there's no point in arguing about it. But the bigger problem is that when people are arguing so much about this stuff, they miss the point of the character. And they stop sort of enjoying what makes these characters so likable. And I didn't believe him at the time. But later on, I did watch a Markiplier video. And Markiplier talked about, he was kind of like, I don't like Superman because he didn't have to work for it. Goku had to work for it. And I thought to myself, well, yeah, that's true, but if that's all you're focusing on is the fact that he didn't have to work for it, then you're missing what is appealing about the character if you are just comparing him to a character that you like this one aspect of them more. And that's what kind of disappoints me is, it got to the point where I feel like if you're a DBZ fanboy, you're not going to want to read some of the greatest Superman comic books. You're just going to want to read the comic books that make him look strong just so you can prove that Goku could still beat him at that full strength. So I think the big problem with Versus is while they're fun and everything, people take them a little too seriously. That's why I like the Popeye could beat everyone argument, because it's just a big joke, man. Who cares? They're just animated characters. Yeah, they're just lines on a page. But yeah, that's why Popeye would beat everyone.
Right.
So, we've talked about the Emoji Movie and everything.
Yeah, right.
Not a lot to talk about, unfortunately. But is there anything else you had on your mind?
Not really. Well, actually, yeah. So, we've been reviewing a lot of animated movies this year. And boy, has it been mediocre to bad.
It's been meh.
Yeah, very, very meh. Like, like some years, like, we'll have, like, a gem or two. And, like, I like the Lego Batman movie, but Mr. Loser doesn't, so we're kind of split on that.
I didn't hate it. I just thought it was okay. I'll go ahead and say that. I thought it was, it was like a 6 or something out of 10 for me.
But the fact is, there's no, like, last year was Zootopia. The year before that what came out in 2015? Or,
when did Frozen come out? Was that 2013?
That was 2013.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
So, last year I had Zootopia. What was 2015? It was Inside Out. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think there's probably something else too that was pretty good. And then 2014, you had Big Hero 6 and How to Train Your Dragon 2. Like every year you've had at least like one like really good movie like by the summer, and we have not gotten that. Captain Underpants you could I guess make a case for, and so could Lego Batman. But aside from that, it's been a pretty bare season, and like those like aren't like universally like acclaimed movies, so it's just kind of crazy like how weak the animation has been this year. And there's like, it's not because there's not coming out, it's just they're not good enough.
You know what, it's kind of funny because I think we could almost say that for the entirety of the year. It's felt kind of like 2016 was so like, oh shit, it's 2016. Mm-hmm. Like, even if you loved or hate that year, like it was still like, it still sticks out in your head. Mm-hmm. But 2017, it feels like a pretty meh year. Like, we should be going nuts. Like, Donald Trump is our president, whether you love or hate him. Like, he's a big personality. Like, It feels like we got shit going on, but we really don't. It's kind of just like, I kind of can't believe that it's like the the summer of 2017. Saying it out loud is kind of surprising. I still feel like I'm in 2016.
Really.
It's been so. It felt like it feels like such a slug of a year to me.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel. I still feel like it's spring, honestly.
Yeah,
That's my mindset.
you feel kind of behind this year.
Yeah, I guess.
More so than other years. That's how I feel, at least. But it's right what you said about the animated. Scene.
Yeah, it's and usually I wouldn't care because there's always like weak years, like 2011 and 2010. I think there's always like weak years in between, but like because I'm like watching every animated movie pretty much, I've noticed it a little more. So like last year we had like. What was it? Zootopia. You had Moana, which was really good. Let's see, what else came out last year?
Those are the two big ones, definitely.
Yeah, I watched Trolls recently, and that kind of suffered the same problem as the Emoji Movie, but definitely like better though.
Yeah.
And that was like too fast and trying
in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
trying
how I
to tell
felt
like a conventional Disney story, but just not executing it right. Yeah. So I'm gonna go back to a point where this year, Cars 3 came out this year too, and that was okay.
Yeah, it was alright.
Yeah,
I'd say, what would you say is the best film? Because it seems.
Well, I mean, so the Oscar winner for animated movie next year is going to be Coco because it's going to be like Brave, pretty much. Because it's going to be the most Pixar movie that looks the most Pixar, and that'll be.
And the Academy doesn't actually care about animated films.
Yeah, pretty much. But there's a sleeper in October. Comes out this My Little Pony movie that has like heart to it. It has soul. It has people that actually give a shit. It has like main characters that are not voiced by celebrities, but the actual characters, actual voice actors. My Little Pony movie is going to be either the first or second best movie or animated movie this year. But it's not going to get any respect because no one gives a shit besides bronies and little girls.
The Kawaii Wrestler is pretty adamant at this, and I'll say my honest thoughts based on just the trailer is that, well, I do think it's going to be good. I do not think it's going to be the second best of the year.
Really? So what do you have again? What do you have?
Honestly, I feel like it's not going to be as good as Cars.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so. That's just my opinion, but I've only seen the trailer, and all I can say about the trailer is that everything seems pretty good. Other than that, I'm not such a fan of how it like visually looks.
Yeah.
But that might just be because I'm used to seeing. While I'm not a fan of the show, I'm still used to perceiving these characters in an old, in the very simple Flash animation style, and the animation of the film seems to be, they're trying to make it more theatrical and everything.
Yeah. Right.
So, I don't know. I'll have to see.
Yeah.
I'll have to see when it comes out. That's all I gotta say about it.
Yeah. Well, pretty much. Yeah. The reasoning behind it is that like, the Emoji Movie is like uninspired. Like, there's no passion or like real creative like thought behind it.
Yeah, it's just like, let's just make a Wreck-It Ralph, but with phones.
Yeah, right. And no like new meaningful part of it. But with the MLP movie, like, it could be like spectacularly bad, but that like all like the people who worked on the show, who are working on the movie, they're trying to give it their all. So,
well, as a brony, I'm a little curious. Do you know how what the consensus of the community is right now about it?
I think we're pretty excited. I mean, there's obviously like, I guess hype would be okay word. It's still a couple months off, but I mean, like, all signs look to be pretty good, and like, it's like a legit movie. So, it's just sad that like, bronies and MLP are still kind of overlooked though. Like, we're not gonna get any sort of good coverage off of this. It's all gonna be like, don't take your kids to like the Thursday night showing.
Yeah, dude.
Because it'll just be a bunch of grown men, and you don't want your kids
I could
it.
definitely see a CNN or like a MSNBC or Fox News or something doing a little report where they go to the world like a premiere or whatever, and they interview everyone there, and they're like, "So, what do you think of this movie?" They get like the cringiest people. Like,
they're gonna choose like the actual autistic people. It's like, oh yeah, it's like, oh yeah, you fapped to pony porn, right? Yeah.
They're gonna be like, "What do you think of the movie?" And they're gonna be like, "It's gonna be epic." Like that's gonna be like a news article, and everyone's gonna be talking about it. And, like Leafy's gonna do a video on it and shit.
Yeah,
like all the reaction channels.
Well,
are gonna
who cares
be
about Leafy though?
I know, but I'm just saying, like all the reaction channels are gonna be like, "Wow, look at these losers."
Yeah, right. And it's sad though because like I said, MLP could be like a sleeper hit of the year with how bad animated movies have been this year. And it's not going to get recognized because A, it's My Little Pony, and B, because of the fandom surrounding it. So, it's just sad. But, you know what? I'm going to go in there, go Thursday night with my, brony brethren, I suppose. And
I'll probably come, even though I'm not a brony.
Yeah, right. Well, you will be. You will.
Oh, no. I don't know. I don't want to ever, like, the thing about that is I don't have anything against bronies, of course, but I don't want to be so into something that I call myself anything. That's just like a personal thing. Like, even though I'm an anime fan, I don't personally call myself an otaku. Yeah, right. Like, sometimes I'll say, oh yeah, just like if someone like wants to, if that's like the response they kind of want to hear, I'll say that, or I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm just a fucking perverted weeb, just to be like ironically like yeah. Right. But I don't know. I might become a brony.
Oh yeah, possible. So you're against labels. Such an original stance.
Fuck you. Has the Emoji Movie taught you nothing, Kawaii Wrestler? That labels are wrong. You can't just put me in one little box. I'm not just a meh. I'm not just a brony. I'm not just a loser. I'm loserish.
Okay then.
That's how we're gonna end the podcast today.
All right. Well, cool.
That's it.
Oh yeah.
Dogs are barking.